Jax's revenge domain. You want to know what a nuclear reactor sounds like when it's about to shut down? It doesn't roar or scream, it just goes quiet, real quiet. I was sitting in my F-250 outside Atlantic Nuclear Systems at 11:15 a.m. on a Wednesday in April, watching through my laptop as reactor core safety protocol engaged, locking down 20 years of my life's work right in front of a room full of Nuclear Regulatory Commission inspectors. The countdown hit zero, the control rods dropped, and Richard Dick Hawthorne's billion-dollar demonstration went dark in real time. The best part, he had no idea I was watching from the parking lot or that I'd triggered the whole thing with a single keystroke, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me back up to 7:45 a.m. when Dick fired me for refusing to train his fashion blogger niece how to operate emergency safety systems for a nuclear power plant. That's when this whole thing started. My name's Mason Rodriguez. I'm 58 years old, been a nuclear engineer for 20 years, and I've seen what happens when people cut corners on reactor safety. I was part of the international consulting team that reviewed safety protocols after Fukushima in 2011. Spent 6 months in Japan dealing with the aftermath of what happens when corporate cost-cutting meets nuclear physics. Swore I'd never let that happen again on my watch. I'd been senior safety systems architect at Atlantic Nuclear for 8 years, ever since my wife Isabella passed from cancer. Moved here from Pennsylvania to be closer to my granddaughter Sophia after my son Michael was killed in Afghanistan. Sophia's 16 now, honor roll student, wants to study engineering like her grandfather. This job was supposed to secure her college fund and keep me busy enough to not think about all the people I'd lost. That Wednesday morning, I walked into Dick's corner office thinking we were going to discuss the new safety protocols for Reactor Unit 3. The meeting was supposed to be about upgrading containment systems, maybe reviewing emergency response procedures. Instead, I found Dick pacing behind his glass desk like a caged animal, his $3,000 suit wrinkled from stress sweating. "Mac, sit down," he said. "No coffee offered this time," which should have been my first warning sign. "We need to discuss operational efficiency. Corporate speak for we're about to screw you over." I'd heard that phrase before when some Pentagon contractor wanted to replace experienced engineers with cheaper alternatives. "I've brought in a consultant," Dick continued, "someone who understands the modern marketplace, the new economy." That's when she walked in. Madison Hawthorne, Dick's 24-year-old niece, dressed like she was heading to a photo shoot instead of a nuclear facility. I knew her from Instagram, 400,000 followers, watching her drink smoothies and pose with designer handbags in front of sports cars. "Uncle Dick says you're going to show me how everything works," she chirped, already pulling out her phone to record. "This is so exciting. I'm thinking we could do a whole series about behind the scenes at a power plant. My followers would totally love authentic STEM content." I looked at Dick. "You want me to train her on reactor safety systems?" Madison has fresh perspectives, Mac. She graduated summa cum laude in digital communications from UCLA. "The board thinks new blood is exactly what we need to modernize our approach." New blood, right? What they needed was someone who understood that nuclear reactors aren't social media apps you can figure out over a weekend. These were 15 layers of safety systems protecting 3 million people from potential radiation exposure. "I'm swamped with the NRC inspection prep," I said. "Maybe someone from the training department could help her get oriented with the visitor protocols." Dick's face went hard. "This isn't a request, Mac. It's a direct order." I'd been around long enough to recognize when someone was giving you an order they knew was wrong. The kind of order that gets good people killed because some executive cared more about politics than protecting the public. "I can't do that, Dick." The words hung in the air like steam from a cooling tower. "Can't or won't." His voice dropped to that dangerous quiet that executives use right before they destroy your career. "Won't," I said. "Those systems protect emergency core cooling, containment integrity, radiation monitoring. It's not a training exercise for social media consultants." Dick's hand moved to his desk phone. "Send security up here." "Mason Rodriguez," he said, his voice cold as liquid nitrogen. "Your refusal to follow direct orders and adapt to our evolving business model shows you're no longer aligned with company objectives. You're terminated. Effective immediately. Security escort, 15 minutes to pack my personal belongings, the whole routine." But here's what Dick didn't know. I'd been planning for this exact scenario since the day I started building the advanced safety management system. See, when Isabella got sick, the medical bills nearly wiped us out even with good insurance. That's when I set up Rodriguez Engineering Consulting with my mother Carmen as the primary stakeholder. Every patent, Every critical safety protocol, every core algorithm that made ASMs actually work was filed under that LLC, not Atlantic Nuclear. Perfectly legal, perfectly planned, and about to become Dick's worst nightmare. Logan Martinez and Aiden Murphy walked me down to my office. Two good guys who'd both worked nuclear long enough to know this whole situation stunk like a containment breach. "They're selling us out, boys," I said quietly in the elevator. "Dick's got meetings scheduled with Beijing Nuclear Consulting next week. Wants to outsource our safety monitoring to whoever writes the biggest check." Logan's jaw tightened. He'd been Navy nuclear, understood what happened when you let foreign entities anywhere near reactor controls. Aiden just shook his head and muttered something about corporate traitors. My office looked the same as it had 3 hours earlier when I'd been a respected senior engineer instead of an escorted security risk. Pictures of Sophia at her science fair lined my desk, her with the first place ribbon for her radiation detection project, both of us working late nights on her miniature Geiger counter prototype. There was my Fukushima consulting team photo, the original ASMS development team working around the clock in that converted warehouse, and my coffee mug that Sophia had given me last Christmas. World's coolest grandpa. 15 minutes to pack up 8 years of my professional life. I grabbed the personal stuff first. Photos, the mug, that small periodic table Sophia had made me in chemistry class. But what I really needed was already in my jacket pocket. A USB drive that looked like any other storage device, but contained something Dick had never bothered to investigate. That drive held the original safety protocol architectures, the licensing agreements, and most importantly, the master override keys to ASMS's emergency shutdown systems. Level 9 protocols, I called them my insurance policy. "Don't take any company property," Madison announced from my doorway, still recording with her phone like this. Was all some reality show episode. "Uncle Dick said you tech guys always try to steal stuff when you get fired. You tech guys?" Like I was some kind of criminal instead of the guy who'd spent 8 years keeping her comfortable lifestyle safe from reactor meltdowns. "Everything I need is right here," I said, patting my jacket pocket where the USB drive sat next to my truck keys. The walk to the elevator felt like a funeral march. Logan and Aiden flanked me like honor guards, both looking like they'd rather be anywhere else. In the elevator, I filled them in on what was really happening. Dick's planning to transfer core safety monitoring to Beijing Nuclear Consulting. I said quietly, wants to cut our safety staff by 60% and have reactor oversight handled remotely from China, all to boost quarterly numbers for the board. Logan's face went pale. "Jesus, Mac. You're talking about giving foreign entities direct access to our reactor controls?" "That's exactly what I'm talking about. The board meeting's scheduled for Friday. By Monday, every safety protocol we've built will be managed by people who've never set foot in an American nuclear facility." Aiden shook his head. "That's not just corporate stupidity, that's treason. Tell that to the board. They see dollar signs, not radiation symbols." As the elevator doors closed, I pulled out my phone and sent a quick text to my core team. "Pressure building. Check containment protocols real careful at 11 a.m. Owen Fletcher, my lead safety engineer and probably the smartest nuclear guy I'd ever worked with, texted back immediately. "What did you do, Mac?" "Nothing yet, but they're about to find out what happens when you mess with reactor safety." My F-250 had never felt more like a mobile command center. I fired up my laptop right there in the Atlantic Nuclear parking garage and logged into ASMS's administrative interface. Not through the company network, but through the back channels I'd built into the safety systems from day one. The screen came to life with a simple message. "Welcome, Chief Safety Architect. All systems nominal. Level 9 protocols armed and ready." Level 9. While Dick and his board had been celebrating each quarterly profit increase, I'd been quietly building something they didn't even know existed. An emergency lockdown protocol wired directly into every critical safety system. The logic was elegant. If the Chief Safety Architect's employment status changed to terminated without proper NRC clearance transfer, ASMs would automatically engage full reactor shutdown protocols. No overrides, no demonstrations, no billion-dollar consulting contracts until the safety concerns got resolved through proper federal channels. I checked my dosimeter badge out of habit, 0.02 millisieverts, well within normal parameters. Dick's big NRC demonstration was scheduled for 11 a.m. sharp. He'd have a conference room full of federal inspectors watching him show off safety technology he thought belonged to him. Time to teach him the difference between licensing something and owning it. Before I activated anything, I pulled out my phone and called Sophia. She picked up on the second ring. Hey, Grandpa, shouldn't you be working? Actually, sweetheart, I need to tell you something important. I'm not going to be working at Atlantic Nuclear anymore. There was a pause. Did something happen? Are you in trouble? No trouble, Sophia. Just a disagreement about safety protocols, but I want you to know that everything's going to be fine. Better than fine, actually. Your college fund is secure, and I think we're about to have a lot more time to work on science projects together. Really? That's awesome. I've been wanting to show you my new reactor simulation model. I've been working on it for weeks. I smiled. That kid was already thinking like a nuclear engineer at 16. I can't wait to see it. But right now, Grandpa's got some work to finish. Can we talk more tonight? Of course. Love you, Grandpa. Love you too, kiddo. I activated the protocol with a single keystroke. ASMs began its countdown. 3 hours, 15 minutes, 0 seconds, and ticking down steadily. 19.5 minutes until Dick's world came apart at the molecular level. The countdown wasn't just theatrical. It was giving everyone in the building time to safely shut down non-essential systems and prepare for emergency protocols. I wasn't trying to cause actual danger, just demonstrate what real safety looked like when properly managed. My phone buzzed with another text from Sophia. Grandpa, saw some weird stuff online about your plant. Everything okay? I smiled as I typed back. Everything's better than okay, sweetheart. Your old grandpa just reminded some people why they shouldn't mess with nuclear safety. Haha, awesome. Can't wait to hear the story. Gotta get to AP Physics. We're studying reactor design today. Wish you could guess lecture. That kid. 16 years old, straight-A student, already accepted to MIT's pre-engineering program and smart enough to probably run circles around half the executives at Atlantic Nuclear. Everything I was doing was as much for her future as anything else. I drove downtown to Carter Williams' law office. Carter had handled the Rodriguez engineering consulting paperwork years ago, and he'd been waiting for this phone call ever since. Mac, he said, as his secretary showed me into his office, I heard about your employment status change. Ready to discuss your options? Through Carter's floor-to-ceiling windows, I could see the Atlantic Nuclear building 12 blocks away. Up on the 28th floor, Dick was probably making final preparations for his demo, completely unaware that in exactly 2 hours and 47 minutes, his nuclear consulting contract was going to experience critical containment failure. Let's talk about what happens when that countdown hits 0. I said. Carter pulled out a thick folder. I've been reviewing the Rodriguez engineering consulting agreements since you called. Every patent filing, every licensing contract, every technical specification. Mac, you've been planning this for years. When Isabella got sick, I learned that relying on corporate goodwill for financial security is like trusting reactor safety to social media consultants. You need backup systems? Your backup systems are bulletproof. Atlantic Nuclear has been paying licensing fees to your LLC for 8 years, but they never actually owned ASMS technology. They had usage rights contingent on maintaining proper safety employment standards. I checked my laptop. Countdown, 2 hours, 31 minutes, 14 seconds. What's your read on the legal situation? I asked. Slam dunk. Dick Hawthorne violated the core licensing agreement when he terminated you without NRC safety clearance review. Every contract becomes void the moment that countdown hits 0. Atlantic Nuclear will wake up tomorrow owning nothing but office furniture and radiation detectors. Carter leaned back in his leather chair. But Mac, you need to understand what you're really doing here. This isn't just about revenge. When that system locks down, you're going to expose massive safety violations to federal regulators. Dick's Chinese consulting arrangement could trigger congressional hearings. Good. Maybe someone in Washington will finally pay attention to what's happening in the nuclear industry. My phone rang. Owen Fletcher calling from Atlantic Nuclear. Mac, whatever you did, the whole system is acting weird. ASMS is running continuous safety diagnostics, and we're getting alerts about unauthorized access attempts. Dick's going crazy trying to figure out what's happening. How many access attempts? 17 in the past hour. IP addresses from Beijing, Moscow, even some from North Korea. It's like every nuclear hacker in the world suddenly knows about our demonstration. That made sense. Dick's consulting meetings weren't as secret as he thought. Word gets around in the nuclear industry, especially when someone's planning to outsource American reactor safety to foreign entities. Owen, I need you to listen carefully. In about 2 hours, ASMS is going to engage emergency protocols. It's not a malfunction. It's a safety feature working exactly as designed. When it happens, don't try to override anything. Just document everything for the NRC investigation that's coming. There was a long pause. Mac, what did you do? I protected American nuclear infrastructure from people who don't understand that safety isn't negotiable. At exactly 11 a.m., the Atlantic Nuclear Conference Room had been transformed into what looked like a federal command center. 3 massive screens displayed ASMS interface while company engineers stood ready at monitoring stations. The NRC evaluation team sat around the polished table, minus 4 federal inspectors, 3 state nuclear safety officials, and enough combined authority to shut down reactors across the entire southeastern grid. Dick stood at the head of the table, confident as a gambler holding 4 aces. Madison sat beside him with her tablet, live streaming the whole thing to her followers with captions like taking nuclear energy to the next level. Clean energy, we're girl boss. Ladies and gentlemen, Dick began, his presentation voice echoing off the conference room walls. What you're about to see isn't just reactor safety software. It's the future of American nuclear energy, streamlined for the global marketplace. He nodded to the demonstration engineer, some kid fresh out of Georgia Tech who'd been hired to replace Owen Fletcher after I'd recommended Owen for a raise 6 months ago. The kid had no idea what was coming. Dr. Hawthorne interrupted Inspector Janet Morrison, the lead NRC official. Before we begin, I need to address some concerns that have come to our attention. We've received reports about potential foreign consulting arrangements that could compromise reactor safety protocols. Dick's confidence flickered for just a moment. Inspector Morrison, I'm not sure what reports you're referring to, but I can assure you that Atlantic Nuclear maintains the highest safety standards in the industry. We'll see about that, she said, making notes on her tablet. Please proceed with your demonstration. The Georgia Tech kid started typing commands, and the screens flickered to life with ASM's initialization sequence. Everything looked perfect for exactly 23 seconds. Then the first warning appeared. Primary safety architect authentication required. The kid frowned, typing faster. Just a minor authentication issue, sir. Let me reset the connection. Access denied. Employment verification failed. Safety protocol violation detected. What's the problem? Dick's voice carried that edge executives get when their carefully planned presentations start falling apart in real time. I'm not sure, sir. The system is requesting architect-level credentials that don't seem to exist in our current database. Inspector Morrison leaned forward. Mr. Hawthorne, are you experiencing technical difficulties with your core safety systems during a federal evaluation? Just a minor glitch that will be resolved momentarily, Dick said, but sweat was starting to bead on his forehead. The screens flashed yellow, then red. A bigger message appeared. Emergency safety lockdown initiated. Foreign access attempts detected. Time remaining 0 hours, 47 minutes, 23 seconds. Contact system administrator for immediate resolution. The NRC team exchanged those looks that federal inspectors perfect over decades of dealing with contractors who overpromise and underdeliver. Inspector Morrison stood up slowly. Mr. Hawthorne, your core safety system is reporting foreign access attempts during a federal compliance evaluation. This is exactly the kind of security vulnerability we were warned about. Dick turned to Aiden Murphy, panic creeping into his voice. Fix this now. Override the lockdown. Aiden's fingers flew across his keyboard, sweat pouring down his face like he was trying to prevent an actual reactor breach. Sir, I can't access any core safety systems. There's something here about level 9 protocols, but I've never seen that classification before. Level 9? What the hell is level 9? Nobody in that room knew the answer except the federal inspectors, who were now documenting every word for their investigation report. The countdown kept ticking. 0 hours, 43 minutes, 17 seconds. Every second that passed was another nail in Dick's corporate coffin. Get Mason Rodriguez on the phone. Dick barked at his assistant, desperation creeping into his voice. Sir, he was terminated this morning per your direct orders. I don't care if he was terminated. Get him on the line. Now. The call went straight to my voicemail, the professional recording I'd set up specifically for this moment. You've reached Mason Rodriguez. I'm currently unavailable, but if this is regarding ASM's safety protocols, please consult your existing licensing agreements and federal safety regulations. For emergency technical support, contact Rodriguez Engineering Consulting. Thanks for calling, and remember, safety first. Inspector Morrison stood up slowly, gathering her materials with the deliberate movements of someone who just witnessed a complete safety system failure during a federal evaluation. Mr. Hawthorne, it appears you have significant internal issues that need immediate resolution. Your core safety system is completely inaccessible during a federal compliance review. You're reporting unauthorized foreign access attempts, and apparently the only person who can resolve this crisis is someone you fired 4 hours ago. Wait, please, Inspector. This is just a minor technical issue we can resolve in minutes. Minor? The inspector's voice could have frozen reactor coolant. Your safety system is in complete lockdown, reporting security breaches from multiple foreign nations during a demonstration of technology you claim to own. This isn't a technical glitch, Mr. Hawthorne. This is a national security incident. She headed for the door, her team following like a well-disciplined unit retreating from a compromised facility. We'll be scheduling a comprehensive safety investigation within 48 hours. Until then, this facility is under federal review. No operations, no demonstrations, no foreign consultations. The NRC team filed out information, leaving behind a conference room that felt like a tomb. The countdown hit 0 hours, 15 minutes, and Madison's live stream was still capturing every second of the disaster for her hundreds of thousands of followers. Uncle Dick? She whined, finally lowering her phone as the magnitude of the situation started penetrating her social media bubble. Can't we just hire him back or something? This is like really bad for my brand association. Dick turned on her with the kind of fury that would have made a drill sergeant proud. Get out, now, and turn that damn phone off. She fled the room, her designer heels clicking rapidly down the hallway, but the damage was already done. Her live stream had broadcast Atlantic Nuclear's complete humiliation to the world. Nuclear fail and safety first were trending within minutes. When the countdown finally reached 0, all 3 screens went dark simultaneously. Then a single message appeared in bold white letters. ASMS safety systems in protective lockdown mode. All reactor access revoked pending safety review. For licensing inquiries, contact Rodriguez Engineering Consulting. Authorized representative, Carmen Rodriguez. In the span of 4 hours, Dick Hawthorne had lost everything. The federal contract was dead. Atlantic Nuclear's stock price was in freefall as news of the failed safety demonstration spread through energy industry circles. And ASM's, the crown jewel technology that justified the company's entire federal licensing, was locked behind digital walls that only I controlled. My phone lit up like a Christmas tree with missed calls from Atlantic's legal team, board members, and even some government officials. But the call I was waiting for came at 2:30 p.m. Rodriguez, this is Diana Foster from Durham Strategic Energy, the voice said. I think we need to talk. That afternoon, I found myself in the executive offices of Durham Strategic Energy, sitting across from Diana Foster, the kind of woman who'd been making billion-dollar energy deals since before the internet existed. Rodriguez, she said, studying me over her coffee cup. I've had a very interesting day. The NRC called me personally after the Atlantic Nuclear demonstration. In 25 years of nuclear consulting, they said they'd never witnessed such a spectacular safety system failure, combined with evidence of foreign security breaches. She smiled with the sharpness of a control rod. Atlantic disappointed them. No, Dick Hawthorne disappointed them. Atlantic is just office space and cooling towers. What the federal government is interested in is ASM's technology. And ASM's, our legal team discovered this afternoon, was never really Atlantic's to license in the first place. She slid a tablet across the table. The screen displayed the original Rodriguez Engineering Consulting Incorporation documents, with my mother's name prominently listed as primary stakeholder. Every patent, every safety innovation that makes ASMS valuable traces back to your consulting firm. Atlantic has been licensing technology they never actually owned. They had full usage rights. I said carefully, as long as certain safety employment conditions were maintained. Conditions that were violated at 70:45 this morning. Her smile could have cut through reactor shielding. The federal government wants to contract directly with the actual owner of this technology. Are you interested in a partnership that puts American nuclear safety first? 2 hours later, the framework was complete. Rodriguez Engineering Consulting would become the primary contractor for federal nuclear safety systems. Durham Strategic would provide the infrastructure and government connections. Atlantic Nuclear would wake up tomorrow to discover their company was worth about as much as a used pickup truck with transmission problems. The news broke at 6:30 p.m. Atlantic Nuclear loses core safety technology and employment dispute. Federal contract terminated after foreign security breach. Former nuclear engineer controls billion-dollar safety platform. I was at home grilling steaks for Sophia and me when Dick's desperate phone call came through. Mac, this is Dick. We need to talk. The board is willing to discuss full reinstatement, equity stakes, complete autonomy over safety decisions. Nothing to discuss, Dick. You made your choice this morning when you decided to fire the guy who built everything you needed to keep reactors safe. This isn't over, Rodriguez. Yeah, it is. I hung up and immediately blocked the number. Sophia came out to the deck, still wearing her lab coat from after-school chemistry club. Grandpa, you seem different tonight. Happier, but also more relaxed. I looked at my granddaughter, 16 years old, growing up in a world where her grandfather's work might be all that stood between her future and nuclear disasters. I am different, sweetheart. This morning I was working for someone who didn't value nuclear safety. Tonight I work for myself, building something that actually matters for your generation. Is that good for us? Yeah, kiddo. That's very good for our family. The next morning, I stood in the conference room of Rodriguez Engineering Consulting, looking out at a crowd of energy reporters and federal officials. At exactly 11:47 a.m., the same time Dick's demo had collapsed 24 hours earlier, I signed the incorporation documents that made my consulting firm the exclusive provider of advanced nuclear safety systems to the federal government. Because in America, sometimes the best revenge isn't getting even. It's building something better and showing everyone what real nuclear safety looks like. Sometimes the most dangerous thing you can do to a corporation is exactly what they hired you to do: build something so good they can't survive without it, then remind them who actually built it. In America, real power isn't about the corner office or the fancy title. It's about knowing something so well that when you walk away, everything stops working until you come back on your own terms.